the Zircon Video Command Controller. This are controllers made by Zircon, the people who bought the Channel F designs. It's actually a pretty neat little controller. They made two different versions. They have one that's basically like the Channel F controller, where you push down the fire. And they made another version where they put a fire button on the front. Has a little trigger. Pretty awesome. I like to pick these up whenever I see them, when I'm out and about, thrifting or going to flea markets or going to different game stores. I don't know what it is about these little controllers, but I like them. They're pretty cool. But anyway, like I said, they're based on the design of the Channel F controller. I love the Channel F. It's one of my favorite consoles. It's one I grew up with. If you'd like to get more details about the Channel F, I did do a podcast series with my buddy Scott Schreiber from the Retro Gaming Roundup podcast, where we talked about the various games on the Channel F and also the Channel F system itself. We also had a great interview with one of the designers, Nick Telsfor. He was a really fascinating guy to talk to. We were trying to get an interview set up with Ron Smith, who worked on the controller design. Unfortunately, we weren't able to talk to Jerry Lawson because the time we got the podcast going, Mr. Lawson had already passed away, unfortunately. Jerry was an awesome guy from the videos I've seen of him. I would have loved to have been able to interview him and talk about the Channel F. But anyway, we're talking about these controllers here. These were advertised heavily in different games magazines, and they were mainly geared for the Atari 2600, the VIC-20. They work on the Commodore 64. Basically, if it's an Atari 2600 compatible system, these controllers will work on it. Anyway, let's take a close look at one of these controllers. We're going to open it up and look at the insides, and then try a couple of the controllers out. So here we go. Okay, let's take a close look at the one without the fire button, Video Command. Pretty cool. So you got push down feature, you got pull up, which doesn't work on these. Twist. These are pretty cool controllers on the Channel F. I thought they were pretty cool. Anyway, first off, we have to, unfortunately, cut the decal here. I use a razor knife, make a nice thin slit. Then we take out the screws. One screw. Two screws. Three. And number 4. All right. And we'll carefully separate the halves. There we go. Let's keep the wiring on the other side there. There we go. All right. It's got a really cool mechanism inside. Check this out. We have a collar here, and we have some leaf switch type devices here. So as you move the controller, these little leaves will touch this grounding collar, which is pretty awesome. And of course, you can see the fire button here. So I push down, you can see it makes contact with that little leaf down there. And there's nothing hooked up for the twist on these controllers. I would imagine what these are really good for are spare parts for Channel F controllers, because a lot of times these leaves will break and stuff. You can probably modify one of these to work on a Channel F fairly easy. We'll take a look at the side here and see where it's soldered together. They're actually pretty cool looking inside. Very neat design. So we'll push this back down here like so. Get it back into a little groove. You got to be real careful, because once you take them apart, they're kind of fun to put back together. But basically, want to make sure you got the grounding plane back in its little slots right there. You have the base of the joystick snapped into the little holder down here at the very bottom before you put it back together. I've had some people ask me about these controllers on, greasing them or whatever. They really don't need anything like that. because basically they pivot really nice. Maybe put a little bit of, you know, lubricant down here at the very bottom where it pivots would be about it. Pretty awesome. Now to put it back together, we'll make sure we get this stuck back in to the slot. And we'll stick the two halves together. Oh, let's get this put back into the slot. There we go. There we go. Make sure. Oh, got the wire caught right there. That's one of the fun things of putting these controllers back together, is keeping those wires from getting caught. There we go. And then we basically put the screws back in. So now I want to cut over to the other controller. We're going to open it up, the one that has the fire button on the front. Okay, quick cut. Now here's the one that's got the fire button on the front. Takes the place of the plunger for fire. This is the controller I like to use the most. Mainly because I don't like keep pushing down the fire while I'm playing 2600 games. I kind of like the trigger up here. So let's see what it looks like inside. So slowly peel the halves together, apart. Ooh, there we go. So basically it looks like the other one, except now the fire button has been wired in up here, which is a simple push button. You can see the extra wires have been ran. Pretty cool. So there's no wire soldered to the plunger down here anymore. Pretty nice modification. Kind of like this. Pretty cool. So let's put this back together. Attempt to put it back together. These things are kind of squirrely. Again, make sure the ground plane is stuck in there. Get the little clip down here at the very bottom like before. Get the wiring harness lined up with the little slot. And then, whoops, it twisted on me. Might have to get it twisted around again. Oh, wiring took off on me. There we go. Oh, came loose at the bottom. This is the fun part, putting them back together. Okay. We'll see if I can keep it held there. I'll put my hand up here like so. You gotta be almost a contortionist to get these things back together. There we go. Alright. Okay, I'll put the screws back into this and we're going to try it out on the 2600. Try a few games, how it works. Okay, I've got the controller plugged in. I'm using the one with the fire button on the front. This is my favorite controller to use on the 2600 besides the Amiga Power Stick. And before we get started, I want to thank viewer Kathy for suggesting I'd make another Zircon video command joystick video. I had forgotten I didn't really make a video about these except for one where I did a repair to the wiring at the base, which is a weak point for these controllers, all the way back to the Channel F. So I decided, okay, I'll go ahead and make another video where I show the controller being used and the insides, all that good stuff. But anyway, here we go. I'm playing Berserk. You see, it's fairly responsive, moves around really well. Hit the fire button to fire. Awesome. Let's go shoot some robots. Yeah, run into the wall. There we go. Thank you. Zap. Won't miss them. Zap. Oh, he got me. Ooh. Ooh, blue bots. Whoa. Miss me. Miss me. Get him. Get him. Get him. Get him. Oh, no. Oh. Zap. Such a fun game. Berserk is a really good game on the 2600. Atari did one heck of a job with this game on the 2600. Now let's try a maze game. We'll give Miss Pac-Man a go. I love Miss Pac-Man on the 2600. Let's skip down to the M's. Yeah, doop, 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 doop. Okay, L. M-A. Maze. M-I. O. Mr. Do. Miss Pac-Man. There she is. Boop. Alright. Let's see how it does on the maze game. Dun, 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 dun. Works really well for maze games as well, too.
Get the cherries. Uh-oh. Oh, I got surrounded. Pretty cool. So, that is the Zircon Video Command Joystick. One of my favorite controllers to use on the Atari 2600. As always, everyone, thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.